Good afternoon. Welcome to the Teaching Primary Students in the Virtual World. I'm going to wait just another minute or so for people to finish filing in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Good afternoon and welcome to the Teaching Primary Students in the Virtual World webinar. My name is Scott Gaglione, and today we are going to talk about the different ways you can engage our younger students in the virtual world. Please feel free to submit questions throughout our time together today using the questions box in the side panel. At the end, there will also be a time for some questions as well. In the chat right now, there is a link to the remote webinar learning series where you can see current and past webinars we have done and any future ones that we have planned. There's also an email address, briefing@itslearning.com, that you can send any questions to after the webinar. So this webinar is for you if you are a primary education teacher, regardless of which learning platform, if any, you may use. Or you are a school or district leader seeking ways to start or improve remote learning for primary education. By the end of this webinar, you will learn how to create an all-encompassing landing page for your students. You will understand ways to incorporate multimedia into your instructional material, and you will gain tips for assigning learning to be done outside the learning platform. The first item I'm going to talk about today is setting a landing page. So on the right here, you see an example of a landing page from It's Learning. There are a few reasons why you might make a landing page. Those include all work for the day is presented in one place. Your students will land right where the work is. And you can engage your students by including multimedia on the landing page. Now, if you use It's Learning, you may recognize this course overview page on the left. That's the standard course overview page, and on the right is an example of a landing page. As you can see on the left, the work for the student is not readily apparent. There are steps the student has to take in order to get started on his or her work. When you use a landing page, all the student's work is right there, front and center. They can listen to the directions, play the video, and access the follow-up assignment right in the same place. So how do you create a landing page? Well, if you use It's Learning, you can create a landing page by following these simple steps. First, create the page in the Resource tab in your course. Then, navigate to your course settings and select Course Properties and Features. Scroll down to where you see Choose Start Page and click on the drop-down. Select the page you would like to use as your landing page and click Save. Now, if you do not use It's Learning, you can simply use Google Docs or Microsoft Word and create the same kind of landing page. Then simply email it to your students. You can see an example of a Google Doc that I created, and you will receive a PDF of the sample shown after this webinar. Next, I'd like to talk about utilizing multimedia tools and resources in its learning. So when we talk about using multimedia in its learning, there are multiple tools in the rich text editor that you can use to quickly and easily include those multimedia aspects to your resources and activities. To record audio or video in the rich text editor, click either the microphone or video camera. Then you will be prompted to either record or upload a message to share with your students. Please note that you may need to give permission for your browser to access the microphone or camera. It is also possible to embed videos using the Embed tool in the rich text editor. To embed a video, simply copy the video's URL, click on the Embed tool, paste the URL, and then click Insert. Finally, you can use the Link tool to link to an image. Images are powerful, and linking to an image takes your link to the next level. It makes it more engaging than just pasting in the link as text. To link to an image, simply upload an image and add it in the rich text editor. Then copy the desired URL you would like to link to. Select the image and click on the link icon in the RTE or rich text editor. Paste the URL you would like to link to and click Save. Now you have a linked image that users can click on and go right to the desired website. On the next few slides, you will see some examples of these tools in action. Here is an example of a landing page in its learning. At the top, you can see an example of audio directions that were recorded using the audio recorder in the rich text editor. At the bottom, you see an example of a video that was embedded using the Embed tool. And yes, that is Betty White, in case you were wondering. Here is another example of an embedded video. The student would simply click the video to play the video right in the page, instead of having to go to a new browser tab or window to view it. At the bottom is an example of a linked image. The student would simply click the image and be taken right to the website to practice measuring objects with non-standard units. This is an example of a page from Bartholomew Consolidated School Corporation that incorporates an embedded video in the lower left and a recorded video in the upper right. The recorded video was created using the video recorder in the rich text editor. Finally, I'd like to talk about assigning activities off the platform. It is always a good idea to get our students up and moving, whether in the classroom or in the virtual world. As teachers, we are all aware of the benefits of interspersing these periods of activity throughout our day, and it's no different in the virtual world. How can you do that using its learning? Well, there are a few tools in its learning that I would consider using when getting my students active and away from a screen. You can use a task, a discussion board, or an assignment. Which tool you use will depend on your goal for the activity. Begin by assigning an activity for your students to complete away from its learning. If you just want the students to toggle yes that they have completed an activity, use the task tool. If you would like your students to share their experience with others or upload a picture of their work, use the discussion board or the assignment tool. Here are a few examples that can be assigned to students in the platform that involve stepping away from their screens. Using the task or assignment tool for a lesson about shapes, have your students go on a shape hunt in and around their house and toggle yes when finished in the task tool. You might have students write their sight words using shaving cream, oatmeal, salt, or some other medium, and have them toggle yes on the task tool. For a lesson about maps, have the students make a map of their home and then upload a picture of it in an assignment. Using the discussion board for a lesson on the 5 senses, You might have your students take a walk in and around their house and identify what they notice using their senses. Then they can share their findings on a discussion board. Keep in mind, in the discussion board, the students have access to the audio and video recorder as well, so they can record audio, or if they're feeling so inspired, they can record a video and upload it. For a lesson on rhyming words, you can create a thread in the discussion board with a word. Instruct the students to reply with items that they can see in their house that rhyme with that word. Finally, for a lesson on shadows, have students stand in the same spot at various times of the day and mark with chalk. Have students post threads on the discussion board that shares what this teaches us about the movement of the earth. This idea came from the Bartholomew Consolidated School Corporation. Now, here are some resources that you can use to help you plan engaging activities for your students. Storyline Online. This features many stories being read by celebrated actors that you can use as part of reading lessons and activities. PBS Learning Media allows you to inspire your students with thousands of free teaching resources, including videos, lesson plans, and games aligned to state and national standards. Go Noodle, well, that provides movement and mindfulness videos that you can use to provide brain breaks to your students. Smithsonian's History Explorer. This is a distance learning resource that you can filter by grade level, including activities for K-2 students. Mystery Science, open and go lessons that inspire kids to love science. Read, Write, Think, an online literacy learning with interactive tools that help students accomplish a variety of goals. Lunch Doodles with Mo Williams. Side note, this is one of my favorites because I love Mo Williams. Learners worldwide can draw, doodle, and explore new ways of writing by visiting Mo's studio. Which One Doesn't Belong? This website is dedicated to providing thought-provoking puzzles for math teachers and students alike. And finally, Scholastic Learn at Home, day-by-day projects to keep kids reading, thinking, and growing. As you can see, I've included the links on this slide, and after the webinar, when you receive the recorded video of it, you'll also be able to access these links. Finally, remember, less is more. Incorporate brain breaks like you would in class, for example, using Go Noodle. Images are powerful, and you can engage using audio and video. Don't forget, embedding videos instead of linking makes it easier for the students to access the videos. With that, I'd like to say thank you and open it up for any questions.
Scott, right now we don't have any questions, but as people are thinking and maybe taking a moment to type their question, can you review one more time why a teacher would want to embed a video versus linking the video?
Absolutely. In fact, what I can do is I can show you in a course. So this is an example landing page, Monday's lesson. And as you can see, my video is embedded right here. And so if I wanted to listen to Betty White read my story, if I just click play, it's going to start playing right there. Whereas if I had a link, it would open up maybe in a new tab up here or in a new window, and the student would then be able to see the video, but they may have trouble getting back to where they were. This way, when I embed a video, it's all right here where I am, and I can watch my video and then scroll down and continue with the next activity. One other thing I'd like to show is, well, we do have a question, it looks like.
Yeah, so the question's asking when will they get a copy of your demo with the information from your presentation?
I believe that'll be within 24 hours. The video will be kind of all packaged up, and you'll receive an email that will include the information from my presentation, including those links to those online resources.
And so, Scott, I see there that your all-encompassing landing page says Monday's lesson. What do I do for Tuesday?
I'm so glad you asked, Andrea. Thank you so much. So let's say that Monday's over and I need to change it for Tuesday. So remember, the key point is to make sure you have the page created first. Okay, you need to have your Tuesday page created. It doesn't have to be completely filled out, but it does have to be created first. And what I will do is I will click more, and I will go to my settings. And in my course settings, I'm going to choose course properties and features. And when I scroll down, you see here where it says choose start page. Right now it's Monday's lesson. When I click on the drop down, I can go and choose Tuesday's lesson. I choose Tuesday's lesson, I scroll down, I click save. And now when I come back to my course, you'll see that my landing page is now Tuesday's lesson. And just like with Monday's lesson, everything is right here, front and center for my students to get right to work. So I see a question about asking about doing this using Google Docs. It is possible to do that. I created my sample page using Google Docs. Basically, what you're going to want to do is insert images from your computer or from the web. It's pretty straightforward on Google Docs how to do that. And then you would, just like I talked about within the platform, you would highlight the image and insert a link to the website you'd like to go to. And in terms of the video, embedding the video, it's not as straightforward. There's an extra step or two involved. You need to use actually a Google Slides file first to create the embedded video, and then you would copy it into the Google Docs.
So, Scott, we do have a couple more questions here. So here's another question that says, can you create more than 1 week of assignments?
You certainly can. I'm wondering if you mean on the same page, or if you're asking about adding more than one page. If I was thinking about this with my primary teacher hat on, I would try to keep my page to a single day. Just because if you have too much on there, it may overwhelm the kiddos. So you can certainly create more than 1 week of assignments at a time. But in terms of a landing page, I would try to keep it to 1 day if possible, just so that it's not overwhelming to our kiddos.
And then can you show how a student can go back after that day has passed? So we just linked Tuesday's landing page. What if the kiddo had to go back to Monday?
Great question. So as you can see up here, the resource tab is highlighted because in reality, this page lives in the resource tab, and that's where Monday's page would be. So if I click on resources, you can see right here is Monday's lesson. And so I would click it, and there it is.
And also, Scott, I know several teachers that I've been working with, they add an extra content block up there at the top that says yesterday's lesson, and they actually link Monday's page to Tuesday's page, so that it's just 1 click away instead of 2 clicks away, because sometimes an extra click, I know for particularly our little ones, it might be a little bit easier. So you can actually add a content block up there and link Monday's page, and that content block can say yesterday's lesson.
Let me just show you how you can do that. So I
Awesome.
would click Add Content Block. I'm going to choose the world's greatest content block, the rich content. And as Andrea said, I would name this yesterday's lesson. And then down here, I could, upload an image of yesterday's page if I wanted to, or if I just wanted to link to it, I would click on this tree link menu item and click Monday's lesson, click add, and I could put some directions up there if I wanted. To access yesterday's lesson, click below. I could use my little microphone here to record directions if I wanted and click OK. And now you see here is a content block with yesterday's lesson. So if we pretend we come back to the course, I'm at my Tuesday lesson. I can simply click Monday's lesson and go right to that page. Any other questions?
That is awesome. I love the tree link feature. That's relatively new. Yes, we do have another question. Can co-teachers work on the same assignment page dashboard?
They certainly can, as long as they are a teacher in the class. They can certainly work on it. They can add their own content blocks if they'd like for their kiddos. If they need to, streamline some things for their friends, that's entirely possible. Just the key is to remember they need to be a teacher in the course as well.
All right, let's see. I think those are all the questions for now.
All right, we'll wait just a minute, see if any last questions come in. While we wait just a moment, just a heads up that we will be scheduling some more webinars for next week. The link that's in the chat will take you to our remote learning webinar series page. And as we schedule those, you'll be able to find that information there, along with receiving the information in an email. Ooh, one last question here. I just saw Andrea. It says, what do I mean a teacher in the course? So in its learning in a course, you can have a couple of different roles. So you can be a teacher in the course, you can be a student in the course, you could be an administrator in the course. So the key for a co-teacher being able to edit the page that I'm showing right here would be to make sure that they are a teacher in the course and not a student. If they're a student, they won't be able to edit this page. So you'd want to make sure that they're a teacher in the course.
And I know one of the great questions we had from the last webinar that hasn't come up today, but it might be worth reviewing is, can you talk a little bit about some strategies for our kiddos that might be non-readers? So that like the text speech. Right,
absolutely. So I think what I would recommend is using there's a plugin in Google Chrome. There's I think it's called Read and Write. I believe that's it. So that's a good way to be able to, so you can use voice to text for that. But also, please note that in an assignment, let me go to an assignment and show you from the student perspective. Oops, sorry. So when the student goes to answer the assignment, they're going to have that same rich text editor that has the ability to record audio or video. So that is another option for our youngest kiddos to be able to submit their answer. They can record an audio or, like I said, a video, and it'll be automatically added to their assignment, answer, and they would hit submit. So that's one way for our earliest learners that are still maybe getting used to typing and writing. It might be a good idea to show them this. And as you can see in my assignment, I include kind of a little screenshot of the rich text editor, pointing out the audio and suggesting that as a way to answer the question.
That is awesome information, Scott. Thank you very much. I know that we, so videos, we have a question about what about videos in Spanish for ESL learners? Scott, do you have some ideas on that?
Well, I think, the way you would go about embedding the video would be the same, using the Embed tool and pasting the URL. You can find videos in Spanish on YouTube, for example, for sure, that you can simply embed for your ESL kiddos.
All right. I know my audio cut out there for a second, Scott, so I'm not sure exactly. I know you had an answer.
Yes, I did.
I heard you talking right at the very end, but I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
My internet is, as y'all know, is a little spotty today. So, okay, she said thank you very much. So that must have been a fabulous answer.
Yeah. You're welcome, Suzanne. Thank you. All right, so to wrap up here, just remember that you'll be getting a copy of this recording along with handouts and the PowerPoint presentation to go along with it. And just remember, less is more with our little kiddos. We don't want to overwhelm them, but they are certainly capable of participating in our virtual world of education. And with that, I say thank you to everyone. Hope you stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day.